Hello, and welcome back to the Can You Dig It podcast, where we dig down, dig deep, and dig into the process of self-discovery and personal growth. I'm here with Jessica Rebello from Unleash Potential Life Coaching, and I'm Jordan Knox from the Center for Alignment, bringing you 2+ decades of combined counseling and coaching experience to the exploration of really the theory, but more importantly, the application of subjects in mental health, emotional awareness, and it's important enough to mention twice, personal growth. Today's episode is titled Chainbreakers, a Conscious Community. Today's episode is going to be the shortest episode we have. It was created to give you all just a glimpse into what these groups are that we're starting. So I'm gonna hand it over to my partner here and let her kind of take it away. Jessica, what is Chainbreakers? What's your elevator speech? Why would I do it? What are we talking about here?
So when you and I first started talking about all of this and started planning it, we really wanted to create a community where people could come and they all have a common ground to be the best versions of themselves. But it's a way for them to be the best version of themselves, but also to hold other people in their group to be the best version of themselves. Because everybody always has, that same common goal, or we hope to have that same common goal when attending the group.
So there's like this underlying sense of accountability that's a big part of this process, it sounds like. That's for sure. I'm playing dumb here, like, oh, interesting. Like I created this group with you. What am I talking about?
No, but speaking.
No, go ahead.
Speaking of accountability, I think it's much easier to be accountable to a group of people than it is to a singular person sometimes, right? Like you could be working with your coach, your therapist, your counselor. And we could hold them accountable. But when you have a group of 10, 15, 20, however big this group ends up being, you're accountable to a lot of people. And you want to make sure you don't disappoint them, or you want to make them proud, or you want to make yourself proud. You know what I mean? It's a different driving force, I think, in a group setting.
Absolutely. And it is, it's easier. I mean, in this day and age, before I get ahead of myself, the pandemic has changed so much, and one thing that even before the pandemic, you can see it in the world around us, in our culture now, the sense of community is so lost, right? Mm-hmm. Like my childhood, we had a community, every kid on the block would come and play sports outside after school together. You knew all your neighbors. Mm-hmm. We don't necessarily have that anymore. A lot of people don't.
No.
And now that we're all working from home, stuck inside, afraid to go interact with people, that sense of community, there's a sense of belonging, of unconditional support. Again, with a neighbor, maybe it's just, I need a tool, or mm-hmm. I need a towel, or can you come help me fix a pipe, ... In this instance, it's mental and emotional support. But it's that sense of community and being able to get that unconditional positive regard, that unconditional support from people who are all in it for the same reason. And for the purposes of this group, that reason is we're all looking to become the best versions of ourselves. Mm-hmm. And I'm here to hold myself accountable to it. And I'm here to help you hold yourself accountable to it, but only from a place of motivation and non-judgment and acceptance. And it can be really freaking powerful. It really can.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And another benefit of it too is you will also gain all of these different perspectives from other group members, right? There's going to be so many people who come in with different backgrounds and different careers and different schooling, and we're just all so different. So bringing us all together and hearing the different perspectives of hey, why don't you try this? Or, hey, this is my experience with this. What do you think of that? That's awesome. Wouldn't we all want that? I mean, I would love an option of choices of I could do this, or this. I have so much more control over my world and my life. This is great.
Yeah. And as you say that, it makes me think about the amount of times the thought has gone through my head while talking to a client, God, I wish you could share this story with the world.
Yep.
And I would admit there's so many coaches and therapists who have to agree with that. It's just, there's so many powerful testimonials that people can give. All you're speaking is from personal experience. You don't even have to plan. You just speak from your heart. This is what I went through. This is my truth, and take it or leave it. That's my story. And here's the pain I went through, and here's what I took from it.
Yeah.
It's so important. It's so important. And then, I just alluded to another thing that for me is a big part of the group experience, just being able to speak your truth. in a setting where you know you're not going to be judged. You know, there's so many clients where, like, I know that they've never said what they're saying to me to anyone else in their life.
Mhm.
And that I'm not, we're not, it's a counseling thing. It's a coaching thing. Yes, there's a trusting relationship there, but to be able to say that in front of 5 to 10 people and still be
Empowering.
accepted, oh, it's so empowering. Or to even watch people nod and like to get genuine reactions or like points like, yeah, I relate to that. Oh man, you hit. I wish I had the gall to say that. I would never have said that in group. I mean, you hear things like that all the time. People choosing to be brave and courageous in these group settings we have. It's powerful. It really
Yeah,
is. It's
absolutely.
very empowering.
And you use the word brave, and I think that's like the perfect word for it, because it does take bravery to join a group and to be vulnerable and to be open and honest and to be willing to hold yourself accountable to what your commitment is, right? It's a weekly group, Tuesday night, 6 p.m., hour and a half or 2 hours, however long we run it. But like, that's a commitment that you're making to yourself. That's a commitment you're making to other people. That's also a huge commitment you're making to your own mental health.
Mm.
Right?
Yeah.
It's like I have a date with myself every Tuesday night at 6 o'clock. That's awesome.
Right.
Totally awesome.
Right. And it will like almost, I don't want to say unintentionally because it's a very intentional thing, but it will serve as almost like a recentering point for you throughout the week too. You know, I don't know if you've ever, or you or anyone you know have ever gone to church or temple or had any kind of community that they consistently went to where they were fully accepted and not judged and fully supported and reminded to come from love and your highest self. And like, you know, imagine you go through the week that the for lack of a better word, the muck, the crap of the week gets to you. It sticks to you. And the further you get from that recentering or that seminar you went to or that healthy book you're reading or that powerful conversation you had with a friend who gave you a kick in the butt, you know, in a good way, like the further you get from that, the harder it is to remember the feeling, to remember the motivation, to feel inspired to be better and do better and you grow and exhibit change. You know, this is a commitment to like literally, you know, this weekly centering of the self back in my highest good, my highest path, you know, willing to be uncomfortable, motivated to do what needs to be done and be the me that I want to be. So
I think it's great. I think it's also really helpful for people who maybe like graduated from therapy or graduated from coaching, who feel like they're in a place where they don't necessarily need that one-on-one attention, but they still want something, right? I hear so many people say like, hey, I don't really need to see you anymore on like a weekly basis, but like I kind of still want something else. A group is perfect, totally perfect. Or on the opposite side of that, maybe it's really also good for people who have never attended therapy or who have never seen a life coach, right? Like they don't really know how to ask for help or open up or be vulnerable. Well, in a group setting, all the attention's not always on you. So it's a little bit safer. It's a little bit more comfortable, right? It's sometimes then a good first step. You know what I mean? It's a seesaw effect on that one, but I think it's going to be really exciting.
Yeah. And for all of those people, you're putting yourself in a position, you know, whether you're new or a graduate and, you know, whatever the reason is, you're putting yourself in a position to be open to and receive other people's experiences. You're putting yourself in a position to empower others and empower yourself by speaking about your own experiences, by sharing your wisdom. You know, sometimes we forget who we are. Sometimes we forget all the greatness inside of us, the things we've done, the stuff we've been through, the stuff we've transcended, right? New things get old. That's just, right? Even uncomfortable things, they get comfortable. And if you've been working on yourself for so long, you know, maybe there's new habits that you have that you no longer actually feel like proud of yourself for doing because it's just old hat now. This is just who I am now. And we need to level up again. We got to level 2. Oh, now it's time to go to level 3. But we forget that level 2 was really hard. And we need to remind ourselves that we did amazing and that we deserve our own gratitude and that we have so much wisdom to share. And, you know, the pain we went through, the lessons we pulled from that experience, we can share with others. That's a huge part of this. You know, I'm so excited to watch people become powerful, just by sharing their stories, not even realizing that, oh my gosh, like I have so much to impart in others without even realizing. I love it. I love watching that.
And it's also them having a voice and sharing that voice and owning that voice, like the ownership behind it, the motivation behind it, the courage behind it, the gratitude, like you're saying, behind, like there's so many benefits from attending this group that you're going to change by week 1. By week 8, you will be a different person.
Right.
Or you and I are just not doing our jobs right.
Yeah, well, and that is, I will highlight that part too. We do have lots of group experience. As the co-leaders of the group, it's our responsibility to make sure that it's flowing and running the way everybody wants it to be flowing and running too. It's going to morph. It becomes its own entity. And it's such a cool thing. And we all make it our own just by showing up and being who we are. In some weeks it's going to be like hysterical and we're going to laugh our faces off. Some weeks it's going to be really real and like hard to sit through, but in a great way. Like I'm growing, but I'm humbled and I can't believe you went through that kind of way. Some weeks we may cry together. A lot of weeks we're probably going to laugh as we cry together and make fun of one another in great ways, like healthy ways. I mean, there's so much. It's bottom line is it's all real. And the underlying foundation is I'm here for you. I'm supporting you. I'm in this with you. This is a safe space. And, I'm really, really excited to be able to offer it to people. Is there anything that, in closing, anything you haven't said or that I haven't said that you want to put out there, or a message you want to send anybody?
I think for anyone who's never attended a group, or for anyone who's never been a part of something like this, and they want to change, or they have a piece of themselves that they want to get better at, or whatever it is, that I would recommend giving it a try. Seeing if they like it, seeing if it's helpful. And if it is, fantastic. And if it's not, that's okay too.
Right. Gotcha. Yeah. And my message is, like everything else in life, you're going to get out what you put in. If you show up ready to have a great time, ready to immerse yourself in it, share your wisdom, listen to new perspectives, really, really become a part of this family, this community we're looking to really build here, you will undoubtedly experience wonderful things from it. You will. So that's gonna close us off for the day, for this podcast. It was a quick one. We hope you enjoyed it. Don't hesitate to reach out to either of us at any time. If you have any questions, you can email me, Jordan M. Nacht, Nacht @gmail.com. The group flyer we're going to post on here just so you have it. And other than that, we look forward to hearing from you and helping you in whatever way we can.